Utah 35-21. Here we're just getting started. And Taron Johnson was able to get up under his own power and get to the sideline. Saran Neal will take his spot defensively. And if you're just joining us, Joe Burrow took a deep shot to Damar Chase. We saw a defensive pass interference call, and now it's third down and less than one. Looking for their second first down here in the opening possession of the game. Burrow takes it, gets it. First down, Cincinnati. Well, this has been an offensive line, Troy, that stayed healthy all year, but they just lost La'el Collins, free agent they got from the Dallas Cowboys. He's been playing better and better and better, but tore his ACL, MCL in that win at New England in the first quarter last week. So Hakeem Adeniji is now the right tackle for the Bengals.
Where Hayden Hurst comes off the line of scrimmage. Damar Hamlin, he comes up and he gets fooled a little bit. You see Hayden Hurst, he's trying to hurdle Poyer, but Damar Hamlin, he comes rushing up, and Hayden Hurst just goes running right by him. And he's got inside leverage just based on alignment. The inside receiver ties up the safety, so he's not able to play inside out on Tyler Boyd.
Well, they won the toss, and they wanted the ball. They made, setting more records. Joe Burrow, 35th touchdown pass of the season, the most in franchise history, a record he set last year as they became AFC champions and came up just short to the Rams in Super Bowl 56. Maybe they won the ball because they have 6 opening drive touchdowns coming in. He's tied for third most coming into week 17, and they go right down the field. Burrow 3 for 3 on that possession, and it ends up in the end zone.
That's why you take the ball when you win the coin toss. Yeah. Before that, however, was to Hayden Hurst. And you're going to see Damar Hamlin, how he comes up, and Hurst runs right by him. This was the big play that Burrow catches him. Now you go back to the touchdown, and because of the formation and the coverage, that when he releases up the field, Hamlin has to take him, which gives the one-on-one up top. And with the outside leverage by Tre'Davious White, it's a pretty easy throw and catch for Boyd and Burrow.
Allen starts with a throw and a completion, and right out of the gate. You want the ball? Here it is, Stephon Diggs. Was not targeted in the first half in their win against the Bears in Chicago, and 1 for 1 for 17 here.
Yeah, so what do? They put him in the slot, and now he gets one-on-one on Logan Wilson. Hard to start doubling guys, on these early downs like that when you put them inside the formation. So you have a plan for Stephon Diggs. You're expecting him to be outside. He opens up the game inside to get the ball to him on the first play.
Allen underthrows Isaiah McKenzie. Well, the numbers are great through the air, on the ground, any way you want to look at it. His 5th season, 173 total touchdowns through the air and on the ground, and the most in that category in the first 5 seasons of a player's career in NFL history, past Dan Marino last week.
It's impressive stuff, and you're going to see the differences between these two quarterbacks. Whereas Burrow, he's about getting the ball out on time. You'll see Josh Allen, he's going to buy some time in the pocket, try to avoid the rush, and that puts a lot of stress on the coverage.
Allen got 9.5. Third down and short coming up for Buffalo. Josh Allen is averaging 6.5 yards a carry.
They come into this game as the #1 rushing offense in terms of yards per carry. And they're at 5 yards a carry. A big part of that is, of course, because of what Josh Allen does. And as we saw there, some of the design stuff where they try to take some hits off of them with pulled offensive linemen. But third downs is where the Bills have dominated.
Singletary picks it up. Mike Hilton crashing down from that nickel corner spot, but not before Singletary got 3.
This game, when you look at it, is really in a lot of ways going to be determined on third down and in the red zone. And a lot of games are, of course, but Buffalo comes into this game as the #1 offense, not only in yards per carry average, but also converting on third down. Now, when it's 3rd and 1, you got to win on early downs in order to not get it to 3rd and short. But that's going to be a key for Cincinnati defensively. Can they make stops and get off the field on third down? Few teams have.
Allen, quick throw, but they shut this play down before it started as a timeout was taken on the sideline.
30 seconds.
So a quick timeout. When you talk to Lou Anarumo, who's the defensive coordinator for Cincinnati, he reads the headlines too. And he's well aware that Stefon Diggs has been screaming for the football. So what he wants to do early in this game, he told us, is roll coverage towards Stefon Diggs to try to just blanket him as much as the Bengals can to get him frustrated and try to get Stefon Diggs out of his game.
Well, it makes perfect sense. I think all defensive coordinators want to frustrate Diggs, but especially in this game, knowing that he hasn't been targeted much over the last few weeks. And Diggs playing on prime time television in front of a national audience with what's at stake, you can bet his competitive juices are flowing, and Anarumo knows it.
First down, Allen steps up and goes to the 41. Mike Hilton on the stop, but a gain of 5.
Good coverage outside. I think you look at this defense and the things that they're able to do. One thing that Anarumo does is he mixes things up very well. He's not going to sit in and just allow Josh Allen to get a bead on what they are doing. It's still a 4-man rush on that last play, but brought it a little differently than what they typically do.
Blitz coming. Bills pick it up. Pass is caught. That's Diggs, and that's a first down. 10-yard completion, and that ball was put right in his chest.
Well, they bring the blitz, and they do a great job of picking it up as Singletary comes over, and he helps out, puts it on him, and that's just a really good job by this offense, recognizing the blitz, knowing you've got one-on-one, and then taking advantage of it.
Handoff here is to Cook. And the rookie James Cook is getting better and better and was 1 yard shy of his first 100-yard game in Chicago last week at 7.
No, I like James Cook. He's been a good addition to this backfield, and obviously doesn't get the carries that Devin Singletary does, but he's got the home run speed that Singletary doesn't. But he catches the ball, and just another guy who's really good with the ball in his hands.
That jumbo offensive line package for the Bills, they use it a lot as Bobby Hart, 68, checks in, eligible. Second and 3, it's Cook again, and he's got a first down. The ball is inside the 15. An 11-yard carry by Cook.
Well, this offense, they can beat you throwing the football. They can beat you running the ball. Dawson Knox, number 88, tight end. He comes off the ball. He gets a key second-level block that opens things up. And the more you watch Dawson Knox, the more you appreciate all the things that he can do. One of the more complete tight ends in the game. A good receiving threat, but also a very good blocker, as he just showed.
Allen passes underneath to the fullback Gilliam. And Gilliam with a nice gain of 7 on first down. Eli Apple out there on the edge. They lost Chidobe Awuzie on Halloween. Hurt tore his ACL against the Cleveland Browns. He was their best cover corner, so they're trying to make do with a rookie Cam Taylor-Britt, who was starting that night anyway, and Eli Apple sliding back into a starting spot, part of the championship of the AFC last year for Cincy.
That is an area where they're just not nearly as strong, whether it's Cam Taylor-Britt or Eli Apple. You just don't replace a guy like Chidobe Awuzie, especially in a game like this when you're playing opposite of Stephon Diggs.
Allen keeps and throws it away. Red zone wise, this is the number 9 ranked team when they get inside the 20 and getting it into the end zone. But these numbers are a bit surprising with the 4 red zone interceptions, most in the NFL.
Well, Buffalo over the last 4 weeks, they've been almost unstoppable in the red zone. In 13 red zone trips, they've scored 11 touchdowns. So what I was talking about moments ago, making stops on third down, this would be a big deal for Cincinnati if you're able to make a stop here and force them to settle for 3.
Third down and 3. Allen passes off the hands of Cole Beasley, incomplete. And the field goal unit comes on for the Bills.
Well, they had a chance, and these two guys have a history. And Cole Beasley's doing what Cole Beasley's been doing throughout his career. He creates separation, and he's open. He's got a chance to catch that. He probably scores if you get that ball down on him, but just off his fingertips and not able to haul that in.
Tyler Bass from 25. (7-3) game. Cincinnati scores the touchdown. Josh Allen and company, they come up with 3 early in Cincinnati. Making his 71st straight start tonight, getting worked on the sideline, rewrapping that left ankle. Got rolled up on that last throw by Trey Hendrickson right there.
Hyperextended the left knee.
Oh. He kind of limped his way to the sideline, working on that ankle, and the knee didn't look that great either, but I don't think Josh looks too concerned about it.
Well, and the thing about it, too, is he had that elbow injury, banged up a little bit, and it affected him. He wasn't practicing during the week in order to try to rest it as much as possible. A lot of people thought he'd missed some time with it, but he worked his way through it, and in talking with him the other day, this is the best he's felt in a while, and now he's going to be dealing with that the rest of this game.
Here's Williams on the return after a short kick. Nice return. Ball comes out. It popped out when he hit the ground, and right now they're calling it. Well, I'll wait to say fumble because no signal yet. Matakevich made the tackle, and the ball popped out. It looked like when Travion Williams hit the ground after being contacted by Matakevich, and he did.
After discussion, the returner was down by contact. First down, Cincinnati.
So they discussed, and they make the call that was not a fumble, and the Bengals have the ball up by 4, starting at their own 32.
That's why they tell the young players back when they start playing the game of football not to leave your feet. You land on your head like that.
Handoff right up the gut, and Joe Mixon on first down. A nice gain of 7, and we'll check in with Lisa Salters.
Guys, Bills corner Taron Johnson was taken back to the locker room. His return is questionable, being evaluated for a potential head injury.
That's a significant injury for this Bills defense. One, he's been playing really well, but they play more 5 defensive backs than any team in football 95% of the time. So you're essentially a weak side linebacker in the run game as well.
Here's Higgins wide open to midfield and lowers the shoulder for 13.
This is where Joe Burrow is so good.
And now another Bills player is down.
Can't tell exactly who that is.
Maybe Hamlin. Jordan Poyer was able to go tonight. He was iffy. Their only Pro Bowler on this very good defense. Hamlin's taken the place for the injured Micah Hyde. And that is Damar Hamlin. A big piece of this defense for Sean McDermott. Back after this. As they brought the stretcher out, they have that backboard out. Damar Hamlin is the one who was in on that stop on T. Higgins. And then he got up and just went right back down to the ground.
That's not what any of us want to see, and everybody's around him, and just hope that he's going to be okay.
So we'll take another break here in Cincinnati. Well, you can see that the ambulance is out there on the field, and they are intensely working on Damar Hamlin. There's just nothing to say right now. We'll take another break and come back.
Welcome back to Cincinnati, where medical personnel have been working on Bills safety Damar Hamlin for the last 9 minutes. Hamlin made a hit. He got up, took a couple of steps, and then just fell to the ground. We don't know, of course, the extent of his injuries, but the entire Bills team is out on the field right now. Several players are down on their knees. Other players are holding hands, praying. You can just see the worried looks on their faces. As soon as we have more, Joe, we'll pass it on up to you guys in the booth.
Okay, Lisa, we're going to take a break. They have been administering CPR through these past two breaks that we've taken. As Lisa said, Damar Hamlin has been down for over 9 minutes now. With everybody watching, praying, and hoping for the best. Well, the players now for both teams are so tight around Damar Hamlin, it's tough to get our cameras in there. Maybe that's for the best, but they have him on a backboard, I am told, and now on a stretcher. We'll send it away from here. Just nothing more to say at this point. We'll give you an update as soon as we can. We'll send it to Susie Colbert.
Okay, Joe, we're watching just this emotional scene play out in Cincinnati from here in our New York studios. Damar Hamlin, the Pitt grad, 24 years old, administered CPR down, obviously, for an extended period of time. And just to watch the emotion in the players' faces, the fear, I mean, really just terrifying that he was up, collapsed to the ground. And it's one of those things, the hit doesn't look bad, but Boog, I mean, often that's how it is. It's not necessarily about a big hit, it's about the type of hit.
Yeah, Susie, we play a violent game, and man, you just hate to see it. That's all. I just pray for the young man, pray for his family right now. That's all I can say. All I know how to do right now.
Well, when a teammate is down, and then the game is expected to resume, how as a player do you gather yourself?
I've never been in that situation. I don't even know if any of these players are thinking about that right now. I think by the look on their faces, they're all concerned about their teammate, because their teammate on the field is bigger than whatever's going to happen at some point tonight on the field. The well-being of their teammate is bigger than whatever the outcome of this game is going to be. So I don't think these players are worried. I wouldn't be worried about that. I don't think they're concerned about that. If they have to, I guess they'll figure it out. But the health and well-being of our brother on the field is the most important thing right now.
And you gather yourself and you focus. You figure out a way to focus.
Well, it's chilling to watch the whole thing. There's no other way to describe it. And you're not used to seeing something like this unfold, where an ambulance is on the field. I don't recall seeing an ambulance on the field. And to just see this, there's prayers all across the NFL community. Everybody's thinking of Damar Hamlin right now. And that's all we can do is hope and pray that he's okay, because it is chilling and scary to watch that entire situation unfold on the field. Everybody gathered around him and everybody praying that this young man is going to be okay.
It's just tough, man. It's tough to watch, man. Because, man, we come together to play this game and to compete. And, like, the only rule we have, like, we want to walk off and go home to our families after the game, man. And to see this young man there, man, that's tough.
To your point, Boog, the teams are going to be given as much time as they need to gather themselves to be able to resume playing. And Damar Hamlin was given oxygen as he was being loaded in the ambulance. Of course, throughout the evening, Lisa Salters there on the sideline will keep us posted on his condition. And that will be foremost in our thoughts. That's what everyone in the NFL community will be focused on and thinking about. And we'll take a break, and we'll be back from Cincinnati and New York after this.
Then them frantically administering CPR to this 24-year-old safety. And this is a Bills team. During the break, we watched Sean McDermott call his team over and say, we're going to say a prayer. We're going to say a prayer for Damar. They're going to try to continue to play this game. Sean Smith has gone over to each head coach. The two head coaches, you can see, got together, and they'll have 5 minutes to warm up. And Troy, I mean, you played this game for the majority of your life, and then after that, you've been calling these games. First of all, I've never seen anything like this. And then the question turns to, how do you, as a member of the Buffalo Bills or the Cincinnati Bengals, really continue on and want to play football at the intense level it takes to go out there and play this game?
Well, the game becomes secondary, there's no doubt, and everybody's thoughts now and throughout the rest of this ball game are going to be on the well-being of Damar Hamlin, and you can see it in all of the players' faces and the concern and how they are then able to come back and play a football game. Is no one's been through this. I've never seen anything like it either.
John Perry, as an official, you and I were talking during the break. I mean, this is uncharted water really for everyone.
Right, 20 years. I've never felt what I'm feeling right now. Haven't seen what we have been watching for the last 10, 15 minutes. And it just puts things in perspective real quick.
Zach Taylor's now walking across the field to Sean McDermott as these two head coaches are going to get together again. Let's send it down to Lisa.
Yeah, guys, just so much emotion down here on the Bills sideline right now. After Hamlin was taken away by ambulance, the Bills players just came to their sideline and they just looked devastated. Some players just sat staring out at the field. Other players were hugging each other. Other guys were openly weeping. At one point, Stefon Diggs tried to refocus everybody. He called everybody to gather around him. I could hear him trying to fire the team up, but after that was over, again, players back to the bench, just looking devastated, hugging each other, and openly crying.
Yeah, Lisa, as we said, they've been given 5 minutes to quote-unquote get ready to go back to playing. That's the word we get from the league and the word we get from down on the field, but nobody's moving. I mean, nobody's out there really warming up. Everybody's just stagnant. And it looks like Sean McDermott, after talking to Zach Taylor, is going to pull his team off the field.
The game has been temporarily suspended.
Joe, just talked with New York in the command center. The situation has risen to a point where they want to give both teams, coaches, personnel, an opportunity to go back into a locker room, regroup themselves, and so the game has temporarily been suspended to give them the opportunity. Whatever they need at this point, the teams are driving it.
Which I think they should. You know, this now is up to these players, I think, and these two head coaches with what they get sense-wise from their team as to how much they want to go back out there and continue playing this game. I think it's the right call to give them a moment to go back in, away from our cameras, away from this big crowd in Cincinnati, have a chance to regroup, talk. The crowd here has been great, by the way, throughout this. They don't know what's going on. And now these players are going back to their locker rooms, and I assume they'll have a real frank discussion as to whether they want to go back out there and play this game tonight.
Yeah, I would think so too. I don't know. Is that off the table, John? I don't know what the league is saying to you necessarily, but I can't imagine going in and being able to regain any type of composure to where you can come out and expect to play in a competitive football game.
I'm not sure anything's off the table. I think at this point, with what we are working through in the players and the teams, I think they're just trying to do what is in best interest of this athlete.
So we'll step aside. We'll keep you updated. Right now, we'll send it back to the studio and Susie Colbert.
Joe, it's a complete unknown, and it feels like almost an unprecedented situation, too. I mean, it's just so jarring to see the players' faces and how they feel. And all I could think about is you want them to be together in the locker room as a family, to be together, to talk about this and what they want as a group. And we really don't know if Bills players say, we can't move forward until we know how our teammate is. I'm not sure what the league can do.
Yeah, I mean, their teammate was just given CPR in front of them on the field. That'd be the only thing I'd be concerned about is he okay? What's going on? I don't want to hear about the game. I don't want to hear about a game plan. I don't want to hear about what the NFL is talking about. I want to hear about how my teammate is doing. Yeah. Is he okay? I need to hear that before I can talk about anything else tonight.
That's why they go to the locker room, and that's why they suspend this right now, because we haven't seen a situation like this before, where all that matters is how Damar Hamlin is doing right now. Until we know how he's doing, nothing else matters right now. So everybody can go to the locker room, and we can all await an update and hope and pray that this young man is okay. Because how can anything else but that matter right now? We've never seen that in an NFL game. We've never seen an ambulance come on the field, a player administered CPR, the game temporarily suspended. It's very hard for everybody. And so you heard John Parry talking about the fact that as he was saying that, as long as he's done this, I've covered the sport since 19. I don't ever recall an incident in game like this, ever. It's never happened, I don't believe. There have been times in training camp where someone's hurt, an ambulance comes on the field, and it never, ever gets less chilling or less jarring, ever. And when it's on a platform like this, a stage like this, and you see that happen, it's awful. It's awful.
Everyone's so shaken. I can't really remember